In Parshas Mishpatim, the Torah says, "Kol almana v'yosem lo yisa'anun." You're not allowed to cause pain or suffering to a widow or to an orphan. Now, the Mefarshim, the Poskim, in the Mechilta, it speaks about a machlekes is specifically only for almana, a widow and a yosem and an orphan, or obviously you're not allowed to inflict any pain to any Jew, but there's a special isser, a special love on the vulnerable ones, like the ones who are orphaned or the ones who are widows. They are brokenhearted, so over there you have to treat them extra special. And the Torah clearly says Yosem Valmana, because as the Poskim say, they want to, each one has a separate lav. The Yosem Lava Aleim B'Shnei Lavim, that you're over and two lavim from this. And this is brought in the Sefer HaMitzvahs from the Rasag. You have to be extremely careful how you deal with a widow and how you deal with Yisayimim. Now the halachas, the financial matters of the Yisayimim and the widow, that you'll see in Chesh Mishpat who is responsible to pay for them. And of course we know that the Eibush is called Avi Yisayimim, the Dayan Almanas, and does the widow have rights to collect her sustenance from the estate of the deceased. Those are all financial matters that we leave for another time. The Rambam in Hilchos Deis, Perik Vav Halacha Yud, mentions this as one of the mitzvahs loisas in the Torah, and the Chinuch mitzvah Samachei elaborates it. Now, a Yosim, when you say an almana, a widow is usually from somebody who was married. Back then, earlier times, even when you were engaged, there was a legal bond between the husband and wife, between the chas and kala. So the widow from that situation might have a strong connection to. However, today's days, it's all from minan asuim. Only if somebody became a widow after marriage. So that's what the term almana is, and that's what the term yosim. At what age, until what age is a yosim? So the place can say the yosim, the title yosim, or orphan, and all the dinnings that are attached to it, is if it's an orphan, either from a mother or a father, any parent, until what time, until what age. The Rambam in Hilchos Deis says, until he's old enough, mature enough, that he doesn't have to rely on other people's support. Others say until he turns 20, because once he turns 20, he's able to do business in his father's belongings. And by a girl, a yesima, or orphan, it's once she gets married. So whatever halachas, strict halachas that we find, you have to, how you treat a yosim or a yesima or an almana, it's to this age, and you have to treat them very careful, make sure you don't hurt them. Now, what exactly does it mean? At what stage is it considered hurting them? What is considered afflicting? Now, the Torah says, and again, the Parashas Mishpatim, im onoi sa'aneh, a double lashon. So, because it says in the double lashon, the Mechilta has different opinions. What does that mean? One opinion says, echad inoi meruba, ve'echad inoi mu'at. No matter if you hurt them badly or you hurt them, even a small amount of affliction, of pain is not allowed. A second opinion says, davar acher, anei sana. Why does it say twice? That you only get punished, or you only get you only transgress the law if you do it twice. If you do it once, the law doesn't apply. But either way, being not careful or mistreating a yosem or armana, even according to one shita, even a inui muyot, even a small thing. Now, by a yosem, the Shulchan Aruch says, the Rambam says, this is only if he hurts the yosem for the sake of cruelty. But if he gave him, if he treated him that way because he wanted him to study better, to study Torah, or he had to teach him a job, then you are allowed to talk tough to them. But even then, you have to be careful how you do it. So the chiddush is that this is one of the lavim that the Torah actually says the punishment, God forbid. The Torah says, for those who mistreat a yosem almana, V'chora api, I will be angry. V'arakti eschem becherev, I will, God forbid, kill you. I will make your wives widows and your children orphans. So the Mefarshim and Rashi actually brings it that it doesn't mean they will actually become widows and orphans. It actually means that they will be even worse in a certain stage. Why? Because their wives, if their wives will actually be in limbo because they'll want to get married, and nobody will able to marry them because we don't know for sure if their husband died, and their sons will want to get some Yerusha money. We won't give it them because we don't know if he died. So being in limbo is a bigger punishment than what actually they did. Now, we find a very, very big chiddush here that the Minchas Chinuch holds. The Minchas Chinuch holds that somebody who mistreats Yisayimim is different than any other lav, whereas by somebody transgressing a lav doesn't necessarily become pasal le'edus, because it only applies to a lav that has malchus. This lav doesn't have malchus because not necessarily it's a lav sheish by maisa. It could be the guy could always find excuses, and he could do it in a way that he doesn't act. So there is no malchus. Yet, according to the Minchas Chinuch, a person who is cruel to Yisayimim, he becomes pasal le'edus because this is a aveira chamurahu. This is a very harsh aveira, and it's even worse than malchus. And this is something that we have, according to Minchas Chinuch, it becomes pasal le'edus. This is something that you have to be very, very careful.